Do you find it hard to finish tracks? Is your hard drive filled up with unfinished projects? Rest assured, you're not alone. In this video, I'm going to give you my top 5 tips that will help you finish your tracks. If this is your first time here and you want to learn all about FL Studio and music production in general, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell as well. So let's cut to the chase. Number 1. Whatever you do, don't listen to your track more than you absolutely have to while working on it. You might have a great melody going and it's natural to want to listen to it on repeat, but that's the one thing you must not do. This will cause you to get tired of it, and when that happens, you'll start to second guess how it sounds, which typically ends up with you making changes to that melody that was actually great to begin with. In other words, you'll end up ruining it. So always listen to your track and the melodies as little as possible. Pause it whenever you can, and don't let it play in the background for no reason. Number 2. Speed is key in order to finish tracks. You need to get the job done before you get sick and tired of the track. Try to lay down the basic arrangement from the very start. Figure out where your drop is going to be, where the breakdown is going to be, and so on. It can be a good idea to lay down the main kick, for example, so that you have a basic idea of how the structuring will look like. This will make it easier to fill in the missing pieces. Number 3. Use a reference track. Find a professional track that's similar to what you're making, drag it into your DAW, and keep it on top of your playlist at all times. You can now use this as a reference. It will make it easier to determine how long the various sections should be, where transitions should be, and so on. Study it and figure out what makes the arrangement work. Don't just copy it, it's not cool. However, it's perfectly okay to use it as a guide. Number 4. Don't spend too much time mixing early on. Remember, when you start a new project, you're always in a race against time. Try to get all the important elements in place, such as your chords, leads, vocals, counter melodies, and so on, and do just a rough mixdown as you go. Then, once everything is in place, you can do a final and proper mixdown when the track is done. Number 5. After working on the track for countless hours, you're going to be suffering from various degrees of ear fatigue. Once you've finished with the mixdown, let the track sit for a while. At least a week. You can then come back to it with fresh ears and do the final tweaks. It can also be a good idea to have other people listen to it in order to get some input. When you're done, test the mix on various systems. It's impossible to get it to sound perfect everywhere, though. The best you can do is to make it sound decent on most systems, so that's what you should aim for. Talking about tweaks, make sure you don't spend too much time tweaking. This is another pitfall I see a lot of people fall into. The track might be finished, but then they end up endlessly tweaking it to death, making it sound worse and worse. The best thing you can do is to let the track sit for a while without listening to it at all. Then come back to it and make the final tweak. It's natural to think it can always be better, but seriously, it's possible to tweak a song for 50 years without ever being 100% happy with how it sounds. At some point, you'll just have to tell yourself that it's good enough and be done with it. I'd like to thank our Patreons for their ongoing support, and as always, if there's any specific tutorial you'd like us to make, or if you have a question, just let us know in the comments below. Also, make sure to check out the links below if you need feedback on your music, mixing, mastering, and so on. Thanks for watching.